where Kyle was sent for treatment.
One of his eyes was filled, front to back, with retinoblastoma. We were a bit worried about that, because the larger the tumor in the eye, the greater the risk for it to spread out the eye into the brain and other tissues.
And kill him.
And kill him.
She said 3 or 4 months to live if you don't remove Kyle's eye.
How many months?
3 or 4 months.
That's all.
That's it. That was a shock.
And so in order to save Kyle's life, Dr. Shields removed Kyle's left eye. Shortly after the operation, Kyle regained consciousness with only half of his vision. His passion for golf, however, remained as deeply ingrained in him as ever before.
About 4 hours after his surgery, I have a picture of him with his golf club in his hand.
Still had the medicine they gave him on his shirt, and he's in his pajamas trying to hit a golf ball, and he couldn't even stand up.
It appeared that the worst was over. Kyle's left eye was replaced with a prosthetic one, and he began undergoing radiation treatments in order to save the vision in his right eye. But suddenly, without any warning, one night Kyle became terribly ill. His mother rushed him to the emergency room.
He was gasping for air. And I thought at that time, I'm never going to make it to the hospital. So I pulled into the first driveway that I came to and ended up just carrying him to the front door, rang the doorbell, and I said, "Can you please call 911?" The ambulance got there, and they immediately started giving him oxygen and, hooking him up to everything so they could see what his pulse was, and his pulse rate just kept dipping. And at one point, it dipped pretty low, and the lady that was in the back, with us, she yelled to the driver, "You need to hurry." And at that point, all I could do was close my eyes and pray.
Kyle had developed a blood infection from his chemotherapy. When he was checked into the hospital, his temperature was 105 degrees. Happily, though, in a few days' time, Kyle's condition had stabilized. His temperature returned to normal. He was now a very old boy of 3 who had twice cheated death. And when Kyle was released from the hospital, Jeff decided the time had come for his son to finally play on an actual golf course. But because he knew next to nothing about the sport, Jeff started calling around to local instructors. But of the dozens of golf pros in the area, only one would agree to take a look at such a young child.
He said, "Yeah, I got a 3-year-old boy I'd like to have you look at." And I said, "Sure, come on out."
And that's when local instructor Bob Huber first saw it, a pint-sized replica of Tiger Woods.
I just gave some golf balls there on the practice range, and he started hitting them, and it was like, wow.
Did you know that he was missing an eye?
His dad told me that, but when I watch him swing, I don't even notice there's any handicap at all. It doesn't appear at all in his golf stroke or in the way he plays golf.
Ever since that meeting 2 years ago, golf has become a near obsession for the Lograsso men. Kyle and Jeff are a regular twosome on several of the suburban Philadelphia courses, only it's with the child playing and the father caddying.
9 times out of 10, when somebody sees me and him pull up, they're like, "Oh gosh, I got this little kid and I have to play golf with him." By the 4th hole, the gentleman called his wife and said, "You will not believe I'm getting beat by a 4-year-old here."
Surprisingly, the toughest part of the game for Kyle hasn't been trying to overcome his limited depth perception. He's already shot a remarkable 41 from 9 holes. But rather, it's learning to accept the fact that even prodigies occasionally miss shots. Of course, while having a prosthetic eye doesn't make golf any easier,
how can I not go in?
It does make being a little brother to his big sister Kristen a lot more fun.
One time, I put my eye in a cereal box.
You put your eye in a cereal box?
Yes. And my Kristen put cereal in her bowl, and she took a big bite, and she was like, "There's something in there." And she screamed so loud that she even ate my eye.
When he isn't on a golf course, Kyle can be found practicing his craft in the Lograsso's backyard, which has been transformed into his own personal links. But during the rare moments when Kyle isn't playing golf, he's back where all this started, in front of a TV, still transfixed by that magic he first chanced upon 3 years ago.
Is it going to come back?
That stinks.
But last week, the Lograssos were once again reminded that winning and losing at a game is all so very relative. Because that's when they brought Kyle back to Dr. Shields' office for his 6-month checkup to see if the cancer might have returned.
Everything looks good? We do high fives or what?
Good.
Yeah. We do hugs. We do hugs. Yeah, we do hugs. Yeah. Yeah. He's, well, what else would you expect, huh?
And once he gets that clean bill of health, this remarkable little boy goes back to living his life the only way he knows how.
You ready, bud?
Full speed.
Full speed. How about we go half speed so you don't fall out?
Full speed.
Frank, I love this story. Kyle gets 6-month checkups, and he's cancer-free. Is there a long-term prognosis?
The long-term prognosis is very good. As a matter of fact, the 5th birthday, the last test he had, was sort of a benchmark. You can shrink the tumors. You can't altogether get rid of them, but the future